Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at a unique item called the Guardian Naga. The Guardian Naga is an exceptional level item, and it is relatively nice for a mid-tier character. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out that way, and usually you end up having something a little bit better than Guardian Naga. I have used it several times in Diablo 2 on my leveling sessions upward, and every single time I've gotten my hands on a Guardian Naga, it's been a relatively short lifespan as far as my character is concerned, just simply because it doesn't really, it's not really like so much better than a lot of the other items that you'll find. The only real reason I've ever used Guardian Naga is because I didn't have anything better at the time, and it's not exactly a bad weapon. Like I said, it's just there's so many other items that are better than it. As we go over it, you'll kind of see that. So right off the bat, you notice it has 44 to 146 damage, which is pretty decent for level 48. It has 121 strength requirement, which is a little high for level 48. And it is a fast class attack speed item. It doesn't have any increased attack speed on it, which is a little sad. It has 5% chance to cast level 8 Poison Nova on striking, which Poison Nova is an AoE effect, of course. And at level 8, we are looking at a damage of 157 to 198 over 2 seconds. So a relatively nice little AoE pulse of damage at level 48. But once you level up a little bit higher, then, this item is capable of giving you. I feel like at level 50 and 60 and 70, it's going to decrease to the point where it's just negligible damage at best. It has 180% enhanced damage, which does vary between 150 to 180%, so you can find this a little much lower damage, like more like 130 instead of 146. It has plus 20 to maximum damage, which is a nice little bonus, but it does increase the spread, which means that your average damage is going to be a little bit lower. It's just the way that it kind of works, because the 44 is such a low number and the 146 is such a high number. You're usually going to end up somewhere in between, and I usually like to get min damage as opposed to max damage, but max damage isn't bad, it's just not as good as min damage. We also have 250 poison damage over 10 seconds. So obviously you can see there's a poison theme going on here. We've got the poison nova, we've got the poison damage, and then we also have poison resistance of 30%. And then on top of that, they added in attacker takes damage of 15. All in all, it's kind of an underwhelming weapon. It's not really extraordinarily fast, and it doesn't have anything super special on it. And the poison items tend to be kind of lackluster in Diablo. I think it's because they never got properly balanced after the big change where they buffed up all the monsters' HP. The ethereal version of this is 67 to 207 with 111 strength requirement, and of course you can't really even use this on anything because you'd have to put a Zod rune in it to utilize it, and not probably going to happen. You could possibly use this on maybe a Blade Fury assassin that doesn't burn durability when she uses her Blade Fury ability, but even then I feel like there'd be a lot better choices than this particular weapon. We can, of course, upgrade this to the highest form, which is, of course, going to take a Pull rune, it's going to take a Lum rune, and it's going to take a Perfect Emerald. And this upgrade, I'm not really quite so sure about this upgrade or that it's a good idea, but we're going to do it anyway just so we can see. Sometimes I've been surprised, and sometimes I've not been surprised. That's why I always like to at least give it a try and see what we end up with, right? So right off the bat, you'll notice that this is 44 to 146 damage, 121 strength, level 48. To the Guardian Naga Berserker's Axe, 67 to 218, 59 dex, 138 strength, and level 71. Now the damage isn't absolutely awful. It's actually kind of not bad, but it's still kind of a mediocre weapon for level 71. The ethereal version upgrades as well from 67 to 207, 111 strength, and level 48, to 100 to 316 damage, 49 dexterity, 128 strength, level 71. All in all, I definitely feel like the Guardian Naga kind of fails to achieve exactly what it sought out to do. The poison damage doesn't really overlap, by the way, so the poison nova damage and the poison on the weapon don't really stack together, and that's kind of bad. However, the poison nova does only last 2 seconds, whereas the poison on the item lasts 10 seconds, so I would assume that they would overlap a little bit better than you would think. But see, the problem is that the highest damage poison is what actually takes effect. So the poison damage over 10 seconds, which is the longer number, is going to be active, and the level 8 Poison Nova is going to do nothing to any target that is affected by the 250 poison damage. It's all very complicated, and I kind of wish they would rework the way that poison damage works, because a lot of the times poison damage, especially in situations like this where you have poison coming from multiple different sources, like multiple different skills, it can end up getting wasted. I actually built a character that basically was a theory craft around spamming Poison Nova, and one of the things that I found out was that only the strongest Poison Nova actually took effect. All the subsequent Poison Novas, it basically did nothing, until the stronger one disappeared. And since the stronger one was always active essentially on most monsters, the smaller Poison Novas were essentially doing nothing. Where would you find a Guardian Naga if you wanted to get your hands on one? That's one thing I always do in these videos, because I like you guys to be able to see where you could potentially farm these if you wanted to. Not that I would probably ever farm this particular item. Guardian Naga, the Naga of the Guardian. Bink. So let's go ahead and look at all real quick, and since it's around a level 40 item, we're going to assume about 150% magic find. And non-quest kill, we're looking at Diablo and Nightmare. That's pretty much our best chance there, as well as Mephisto and Nightmare. And Dariel in Hell, which is a little bit too high level for this item. I definitely wouldn't be farming it if I was already in Hell difficulty. And not a lot of good Nightmare choices there. I'm noticing a trend here with Nightmare difficulty items, that they just tend not to have very good farming options in Nightmare difficulty, where they would be most useful. As far as super uniques go, Cow King in Hell is a pretty decent choice. Of course, again, there you're like level 60 or 65 by the time you reach that point, so not going to be very useful as a weapon by that point. Battle Maid Serena is in Act 3. I mean, you'd be better off with Mephisto. Eldritch the Rectifier in Nightmare difficulty, I mean, I guess, but you'd probably be like level 50 or 60 by the time you reach there, and again, the weapon might not be any use to you. Trying to see if I can find any monsters whatsoever that could potentially farm this, like in Act 1 or Act 2, but there's really not a lot of good choices as far as Nightmare is concerned. It does seem like this is one of those items that you're probably not going to find on the way as you level up in the correct zone, or, at the correct time, and that's pretty sad. Anyway, as always, I hope you will guard my YouTube channel with your likes, comments, and subscribes. And thanks for watching, and keep watching.